on this page right here?
Yeah, number 3.
All right, let's take a look at number 3. All right, the symbol below a circle separating 3 equal sectors has come to symbolize peace. Suppose the circle has a radius r. What is the area of each sector? Somebody, that should be relatively easy.
1/3
Yes,
pi r.
1/3 pi r squared.
Oh, I had to like.
Nope, everything is good. 1/3 pi r squared. Yes.
Did I put it like that?
Oh,
Yes. What?
Yes.
R squared pi over 12. Is that divided by 3?
I just missed one.
I don't know what you mean. The area of the circle would be pi r squared. Each sector is in equal parts, which means that's 120 degrees. So it's just 1/3 of the circle, not 1/12. All right, anybody else before we get started? Pretty easy. All right, so here we go. Let's look at 11.4. All right, now again, these sometimes cause problems, but if you listen, it shouldn't. All right, these are regular polygons. So we're going to figure out the formula for area of a regular polygon. Now, I've looked at all of the SATs and ACTs. Never do they mention anything about an apothegm. All right, let me explain to you what the book says. The book says the formula for a regular polygon is 1/2 the perimeter times the apothegm. And the apothegm is simply the perpendicular distance from the center to the side. So this right here, for example, if you just look right up here, this would be considered the apothegm. You don't have to really write this down because you'll never see it again. All right? But I don't really show kids that. All right? What I do show kids is that every single regular polygon can be broken down into what specific sections? Yes, that is exactly correct. So please listen up. All right? So for me, the formula for every regular polygon is simply A equals. Now, N represents the number of sides. All right, so there will be how many triangles in a regular polygon? There will be N triangles. All right. Then it will be times 1/2 base times height. So essentially all we're doing is we're finding the area of one triangle and multiplying it by the number of triangles in the polygon. Is everybody with me on this? All right, I think that's the easiest way to do it. Very, very, very simple. All right. So again, number 1 is really silly to me because it's just, but you have to remember it is 1/2 base times height, but the hard part is to determine what the height actually is. All right, somebody tell me what the height is, obviously. Exactly, thank you very much. It is 4 radical 3 because this regular triangle means that the angles are equal. So if I draw the height, it bisects. All right, the angle. So that means this length is 4, which means this is 4 radical 3. So your area is 1/2. Now be careful. The base of the triangle is how much? 8, not 4. It is 8 times the height, which is 4 radical 3. So your area is simply 16 radical 3, and then we would just say meters squared. Okay, so again, there is the area of a equilateral triangle. All right, it's not really that big of a deal. The area of an equilateral triangle. All right, now we're going to move over to, again, something a little bit more difficult. Number 2. All right, now you really have to listen to me on this. All right, because again, the hexagon is easy and the triangle is easy. But everything else is a little bit more difficult because you have to figure out sometimes what the base is, you have to figure out what the height is, and most of the time you're going to be using trig to do that. All right, so let's take a look. All right, so how many triangles are here?
5.
So now A equals 5 times 1/2. Now I've got lots of problems for this one. 10 is called the radius. It is not the base. The radius does not have to equal the base. All right? But I'd like somebody to tell me what this angle is right here.
60.
Not even close. 360 divided by 5. Thank you. I'll help you with that. That is, in fact, 72 degrees. Please pay attention. Look how simple this is. All right, that's step number 1. All right, now what's going to happen is you're going to draw the height in from here to here. When you draw that height in, that's automatically going to do what to that central angle? Bisect it. So now this angle right here is 36 degrees. Now again, I really like what we're doing now because we're reviewing the trig. All right, you have to understand that. All right. Now, the 2 things that I need right here is this is referred to as the height. What? No, the radius and height are not equal. That's a good mistake. That radius is the hypotenuse of that triangle. The leg and the hypotenuse cannot be equal. All right? And this down here I'm going to mark as just B. Now technically I should mark that as what? 1/2 B. But I don't want to do that. All right? I want you to remember that once I establish what B is, I just have to multiply by 2. All right? So here we go. This length right here is 10. Now, what trig function do I need to find H? Come on now, think about. Say it. Thank you very much. It is in fact the cosine. Cosine of 36 is equal to H over 10. All right? So the height in this particular case is 10 cosine 36. It's really simple. If you understand the trig rules, it's very simple. All right, so somebody tell me what 10 cosine 36 is.
8.1.
It's about 8.1. So now in my formula, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to put 8.1. All right, now that I know this is 8.1, now you can use trig, but for me personally, I just like to do the Pythagorean theorem. So here we go. I want everybody to put in 100 because we know 10 squared is 100. 100 minus, now I want the exact. I'm trying to teach you when you're getting some of these problems, if you make approximations, it's going to mess things up. So I want you to do 100 minus the answer squared equals. And somebody tell me what that is.
What did you just say?
100. Type in 100 on your calculator. Minus your answer. I don't want 8.1. I want the answer in the calculator. I'm trying to make sure that you know how to use your calculator. Now, to get the answer, you can hit the second and I think the minus, or you can just click the arrow up one and it'll automatically take you to the exact answer. Is everybody hearing me on that?
Yeah.
All right, so what does that come out to be? About 34.5. Is anybody seeing that? What?
When I do 10 cosine 36, it gives me
It's the wrong answer, probably.
Yes.
So you should probably change your mode back to degrees. Remember? Mode.
Oh, okay. I forgot how to do that.
All right. So now, listen. I also want you guys to look up here. Now we just want the what? The square root of that answer. So you can hit second. Then you can hit the x squared. and then you can do second answer, or you can click arrow up one, however you want to do it. So we're getting that the B, in this case, oh, I put the 8.1 in the wrong spot, didn't I? Thank you. Put the 8.1. And then the B is, say it again, about roughly 5.9. Now, is that what goes into this spot right here, though, guys? No. Multiply that by 2. All right, multiply that by 2. And you with me on this? Now, tell me what that number came out to be about. 11.8. Now, some of you are going to be smart. Look up here on the board. Look up, look up, look up so you can be real smart. Look, I did something silly. I solved for B and I multiplied it by 2, correct? And every single time, I'm going to have to do what? Divide by 2. Right? Does everybody see what I'm getting at? But again, I don't like to tell that to kids because, you know, you'll forget it when you take an exam. Everybody with me? So if you want to look at it carefully, if I tell you to double B, and then in the formula it's got what? 1/2. Now why is there 1/2 here? That's the area of the triangle, the formula for area of a triangle. So does everybody understand what I'm saying, right? So if you're smart, you can kind of use your calculator wisely. You don't have to do the extra step. Because now we just multiplied by 2, and then we're going to have to do what? Divide by 2. All right? So now everybody go 5 times 1/2 times your answer times 8.1, and then tell me about where we're at for the area. So I think the area is roughly what? About 239, and we're going to, of course, put centimeters squared. Right? And if you're not getting that, let's talk about it. What did you get?
I got 237.
Okay, now, those of you guys get 237, 239, do I really care? No, probably, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Your rounding makes a couple point difference. The bigger it is, the bigger the area difference will be. Does everybody understand? That's why I'm trying to encourage you to make sure that you're using your exact answers, because 5.9, I don't want the approximation. I want you to try to use your calculator and give me the exact answer. Most of the times when you go to school next year, they're going to say round at the very end. You don't round up front because that causes a lot of error. So you have to be able to store your answers into your calculator, multiply the stored information together. Now, a lot of times you don't have to store it. Does everybody understand their up arrow will take them to whatever answer they want? Does everybody understand what I'm saying on that? All right. So again, let's see what's next. Let's see if you got this. All right, so now we're on number 3. All right, now number 3, you should be able to tell me that's called a what? That's called a hexagon. Now, the hexagon is the shape that if we divide it up, it creates what? 6 triangles, but all those triangles are exactly what? Yes, they're equilateral. That's a unique shape. Okay? So again, do I need my calculator for this problem? No, you don't need your calculator for this problem, and you can find the exact answer for this. Now, what do I mean by that? The altitude here is 6, correct? So what I want you to do right now is I want you to put area equals. How many triangles? 6 times 1/2 times the base. And what's the height? 6. Exactly. All right? So if this height is 6, what is this distance here?
3.
No. I knew you were going to say that. What?
No. I know.
3?
Stop guessing.
6 radical 3.
Over 3.
Yes.
Okay.
6 radical 3 over 3. Now, we're going to go ahead and write that. but then we're going to simplify that to 2 radical 3.
Oh, yeah.
Now, how did we get that? Remember, to go from the long leg to the short leg, you always just divide by radical 3. So originally your answer was 6 divided by radical 3, but then because we're smart, we know we rationalize the denominator, which becomes 6 radical 3 over 3, which is 2 radical 3. All right, is that the whole base? No. So the whole base would be what? So I'm just going to go ahead and put now 4 radical 3 there. All right, you still don't need a calculator. Because if you can't do half of 6, we're in some trouble here, right? 3 times 4 is what?
12.
12 times 6. Yeah, slow down, guys. 72 radical 3 square feet. That's what we're talking about on question number 3. I want the exact answer on a hexagon. All right? Anybody have any questions? Did they lose track here? I'll go ahead and put it down here. All right. Anybody have any issues with that? It's really simple. Dividing into triangles. Yes, ma'am. Okay, did you agree with me that this was 2 radical 3 from here to here?
Yeah.
So it's twice as big. You with me? Don't worry. What?
So, it's divided by 3 to get from the long to the short.
Yes. No. Does it make sense if you're going smaller to multiply? You see what I'm saying, right? From large to small, you're dividing. Okay, here we go. Number 4. So what do we have on number 4?
Octagon.
Octagon. All right. Now, again, for me personally, just put a dot in the middle. All right, somewhere. And we're just drawing the triangle. All right. So again, off the side, I tell my kids A equals, how many triangles? 8 times 1/2 times base times height. Now we already know the base is what?
15.
15. Come on, stay with me. So A is equal to 8 times 1/2 times 15. Now I have to figure out what the height is. All right, so what's the central angle? 45. Beautiful. So now, from there, I draw the height. What does that do to the angle? Right, so your angle now is 22.5 degrees, correct?
Yes.
And then your leg would be what? Very good. Half of 15, 7.5. And now I'm interested in the what? The height. So now you have to be able to tell me what trig function would allow me to solve for the height.
Tangent.
Tangent. Thank you. Because tangent is defined as opposite over adjacent. So I have the tangent of 22.5 is equal to 7.5 over h. Now please look up because I think this is important for me. Look up please and make sure you're seeing what I'm saying. All right, I want you to be able to not cross multiply on that, but I just want you to say obviously h is equal to 7.5 over tangent 22.5. Does everybody see that?
Yes.
So essentially I'm just multiplying both sides by h and dividing by 22.5. That should be pretty automatic right now. Automatic. All right, now somebody tell me.
Around 18.1.
Right, is about 18.1. Don't round. Then you just come over here, plug that in there, and now type in on your calculator 8 times 1/2 times 15 times the answer. Now you have the exact answer. All right, and what does that come out to be about? I don't care, 0.4 inches squared. Everybody good? I told you it's not that bad.
Oh, yes, the height.
All right, now we've got some irregular shapes I think that are kind of important, so let's go ahead and knock these out. All All right. Do we know if that's a equilateral triangle?
No.
No, we do not.
Isosceles.
It's definitely not isosceles. All right. So what's the area of that shape going to be? Area equals formula for area of a triangle,
1/2 base times height.
and then plus good length times width. If you say base times height, I'm okay with that also. All right, I want to see who's thinking. Mental math here. What's the base of the triangle? 12. Okay, now the height.
15.
I'm not saying you're wrong. Let's see. Does everybody see that the height is definitely what?
15.
15. Does everybody see that?
Yeah.
And then the length and the width.
169.
So now multiply that out for me. How much? 150. 150 meters squared. Not bad, correct? All right, here we go. So number 6, again, we just have a what? Semicircle. All right. What's the formula for semicircle?
1/2
And then what?
1/2 base times height.
1/2 base times height. So somebody tell me what the radius is.
1.5.
So 1/2 times pi times 1.5 squared plus 1/2 base and height.
3 times 7.
3 times 7. If you want to leave it in terms of pi, I think it's 1.125 pi, right? Plus 10.5.
Not until I got 14.
Isn't that right?
If you're leaving it in terms of pi.
1.5 squared, isn't that 2.25?
You get 14
I got
if
one,
you
Mr.
didn't use
Scott.
if you didn't do it in terms of pi. If you didn't do it in terms of pi.
I got 14.034.
But that's not in terms of pi.
So what is that?
I got
14.
Point.
14.034.
Yeah. And then we'll do. So again, this is the exact answer up here, I believe. 1.125 pi plus 10.5 feet squared. All right, so depending. All right, number 8 should be pretty easy for us. Or I'm sorry, let's go to 7. What is 7?
Semicircle. Subtract the semicircle.
That's exactly right. So everybody take a look. So what would be the area of the square?
64.
Come on, guys. This should just be mental math. 64 minus what?
1/2 pi squared.
Which is? Whoa. Leave it in terms. Let's be smart. Leave it in terms of the exact answer.
1/2 32.
Are you having trouble with 4 squared and taking half of it?
60.
And then 8.
Wow, slow down. Is that right?
8 pi. Yes.
Double check me. Area of the square would be 64 minus half of the area of the circle. Everybody good on this? All right. Exact answers are good. Number 8, let's leave the exact answer for 8. So this is just a,
Circle.
yeah, come on. This is easy for us. So area is equal to
450 for the 450 for the rectangle.
how much?
450 for the rectangle.
So area is, what's that? 56.25 pi. Is that right? Is that right? No, am I wrong? So it'd be 7.5, which is the same as 15 over 2, right? 15 over 2 is 225. 225 over 4, right?
Why don't you do 112.5?
Do that for me. Do me a favor. Do 7.5 squared.
Is 56.25.
And that's what I have.
Okay.
Which is the same as math enter.
Okay.
225 over 4. Everybody good on that?
Yes.
That's easy. Easy. All right. Now, the cool problems.
Oh.
Yeah, tomorrow. Listen, here's what your job is. I do want you to definitely do 1 through 7. And I want you to do number 1.
Okay. Okay, I'm ready for these.
Yeah, do 1 through 7 and number 1. All right. If you're having troubles, let me know.